let's talk about Larson and Chase. Everybody wants us to talk about that. I was a little surprised by it because we don't know how teammates are going to race each other until they're put in that position, and rarely do we see Larson and Chase kind of facing off, right? Now, they race each other every week, but rarely do we see them in a position where they're nose to nose, right, getting ready to go at it. And yeah, I mean, I don't think Larson. So I was thinking about it. I don't know if I mentioned it on air, but I was sitting there thinking the restart before, AJ was in the outside line. So to me, at the end of that race, AJ's the outlier.
That's right.
He's the threat.
That's right.
So when they had him in the outside line, the restart before, I thought to myself, okay, this is, you got him boxed in on that top. Now, immediately as we're starting to come down the back straightaway and cars are double filing up, and I see AJ's lined up now on the right side or the inside for turn one.
Right, behind Larson, yep.
I thought Larson is going to have to overdrive the entry. He cannot go into this corner with the intent to make the middle, hit the apex, he's going to have to overdrive it. Because if he don't, AJ is going to be on the inside of him. And nobody wants that, right? And so certainly not Larson. Larson doesn't want to have to defend hard to the inside and really hurt his line into turn one. And so his best case scenario is stay on line, stay where he was, but overdrive turn one.
Mm-hmm. Not give AJ a chance to get on his inside.
Yeah. And so I think that, it was interesting that Chase took that outside. I think that Chase may have expected too much from Larson in terms of, hey, take care of me. I'm going to start over here, okay? So don't use me up. I think that maybe Chase was expecting a little too much help from a teammate in that moment. The teammate is with AJ on his heels and everything around him late in the race, downhill braking zone. It's a lot to ask from Larson, all right, to line up on his left side. And so they go down the corner, and you can simply see the tire lock up on the right front of Larson. He cannot turn. The car is no longer turning to the right. When the tires are locked up, it's going completely straight, just like it would on ice or anything. Everybody's had that little, tire lock up on ice or slick roads or whatever, and for that moment, you no longer drive your car.
You're along for the ride.
Yeah. And so I think that, once he got the tire unlocked, he made the corner the best he could without giving up any momentum, and he also gave Chase enough room on the outside of him to do some work. Right? He didn't make Chase have to lift to miss the fence, like maybe Denny and Ross. He didn't have to. Chase did have to run wide, way wider than he probably wanted to run, but he did have room out there to operate. Anyhow, to me, it's racing. To me, it's hard racing. It's the end of the race. It's the last restart. The guy is your teammate. There is some level of responsibility not to wreck your teammate, but you've got to race for the win. And Larson has an over-the-wall crew, a crew chief, mechanics that are specifically responsible for his car that also want him to go out there and win. It's not just Larson and Chase here. There's sponsors and all types of PR. I mean, there's a list of people responsible for that 5 car that expect Larson to go out there and not take care of his teammate and run second. They expect him to go out there and do what it takes to win. And it was at the expense of his teammate. And that's going to happen because you have 2 guys that are great drivers, 2 guys that have great race cars, and sometimes that means they're going to find themselves together up front. And I think Chase is absolutely frustrated. Can't fault him for being frustrated. I mean, I said it on the air. I was like, that was an awful half of a lap when he cut back to the back straightaway, he'd lost 4 or 5 spots.
Yeah, you did say it. And while the lap was going, yeah.
I'm like, this couldn't be going worse for this guy right here.
Right.
You know, if you race long enough, you're going to be on both ends of that. And I, you know, Chase will just have to put it in the back of his mind. Remember when he's in that situation the next time that he has all the right in the world to be as aggressive as he wants to be against Larson, and he will. I think he will next. You know, when if he's ever in that situation, in the shoes on the other foot. But to me, I didn't see like, oh man, this guy did something wrong. I didn't see anybody do anything wrong that needs to be corrected, or but Rick doesn't need to sit down with one or the other. He might want to sit down with both of them and say, hey, this is the way I view this. And I can imagine what Rick would say. Rick's probably happy that one of his cars won. He probably doesn't have any real issue with the way it happened, but he probably wants them to not make it personal going forward. Right? Let's not let this get ugly. You guys are 2 great drivers. We got great race cars, and that means at times we're going to be racing each other in these moments. And I expect y'all to race as hard as you can for the win without taking either one of you out. And that, to me, is what happened.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we can agree that Chase Elliott was being sarcastic or overly cautious, whichever you want to call it, in his post-race interview, but that he was clearly upset, my question then is, are you a little surprised that Chase was as upset as he was?
No.
Okay.
Because he did have control of the race. So we'll never know this for sure, but watching the last probably 40 laps of that race, I think Chase had a way faster car. And when Chase needed to, he could run quite a bit quicker than Larson. And so I think that Chase was not only frustrated with Larson in that last little deal, you know, he knows that Allen expected him to go and get the job done, so he feels a big responsibility for not accomplishing the goal that Allen wanted him to accomplish, because I think Allen's going to give you the best race car, and Allen wants you to go out there, and your job is to win. Mm-hmm. And you didn't get that done today. You know, so I think there's some pressure on Chase because Allen is a very matter-of-fact. You saw his interview on the pit box. Wasn't really excited to do any interview at that moment about that yellow coming out. He was frustrated that it came out. They were in control of the race. He answered the questions, but you could sense in that moment how game-faced Allen was, right? Yeah. And that's Allen. That's who he is, and I think so. Chase felt that not disappointment, but Chase felt like, damn, I didn't do what he wanted me to do. Gonna have to. I got no, what am I gonna tell Allen when I see him, right? Other than I didn't get the job done.
Well, let me rephrase it then. Okay, let's.
There's more to it I wanted to say. So
go ahead.
I think that so if Chase didn't have such a dominant car and all that goes down, I don't know that Chase is quite as angry. He just got used up a little bit at the end of the race and, finished third or whatever, and he'd be frustrated. But I think the fact that he had the best car, had the race in control for many, many times, and didn't complete the mission, that was almost 50% of the frustration and anger. Not all of it, not half of it, almost 50%. The rest, I think, was definitely geared toward, my teammate raced me. I didn't really appreciate my teammate getting into me and pushing me wide, And I think if AJ's not back there, or certainly if Byron is in that position instead of AJ, Larson definitely doesn't go down in there over his head and sliding tires. He's going to feel way more protected with a teammate behind him. The whole thing changes. But with AJ being AJ is he's one of the best road racers in the field, no question. Maybe the best.
I think he's the best.
Right? And so he's aggressive.
Yeah.
He's there to win, nothing else. There's nothing else for AJ to accomplish but win. You got the most dangerous guy in the field on your heels going down a hill, one of the hardest braking zones in the whole series. And it was just a recipe that had everybody in a very compromised position. So, hey guys, I'm here to tell you 3 reasons why I love our sponsor, Tire Pros. Number 1, Tire Pros loves cars as much as I do. Number 2, they have great service. Number 3, they're committed to getting you back out on the road. Plus, they've got this really cool logo.
Dale, that's 4 reasons.
And they have over 600 locations, 24/7 roadside assistance, a great selection, and a best-in-class tire warranty. Tire Pros, love the drive.